through a ghost town. Y'all ain't playing my sounds. Don't tell me to calm down. Don't tell me to calm down. Only time I go backwards is when I wanna moonwalk. Don't test me, my mood's wrong. Don't test me, my mood's wrong. We are who we say that we are. You were lost in the stars, and it's all from the start. Never running no pace, never on the right page, but we still read that book, and we still run that race. Mississippi Racer riding out, no shortcuts, no time for that. Mississippi Racer riding out, till the wheels fall off, I'm driving that. Mississippi Racer riding out, we'll stop burning, strike the match. Mississippi Racer riding out, red light, green light, red light, good night. 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 Time to chill, don't sweat it.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are here live this morning with a lot of news between the NFL and NBA. I'm here with the guy himself, Mr. Mo Better. How we doing this morning, brother?
Hey, good morning, Carmike. Good morning to everybody out there joining us. We appreciate you. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it, Mo. Do you know what this is, man? Abandoned ship right now for them 49ers, man. What's going on out there, man? Are we like all the trade and all the cuts? Ain't really no moves making, just about 30 million left in cap space. What we doing out here?
I think what they're doing is they're making the tough choices. At some point, when you have one of the better teams in football and you pay your players, at some point you can't pay everybody, and then you got to make tough decisions. And I think most of the decisions really have been smart decisions, with the exception of losing out on Greenlaw, letting him go. But Tuafonga, I don't know if he was ever going to return to form coming off that injury. So I understand some of the moves. If I'm concerned, my real concern really is that are they going to pay Brock Purdy upwards of $55 million?
How you feel about that? How you feel about Brock get that bag?
Yeah, I think that's a mistake. He's been their starting quarterback, and I'm saying that with respect for what he's done. Consider where he came from, where he was drafted. But if Brock Purdy and Jimmy Garoppolo were both on the 49ers right now today, and I don't know how old Jimmy G is. I think he's probably in his early 30s. But if they were both and they're fully healthy, and it was like we could pay Brock Purdy $50 million, or we could sign Jimmy G for 2 years, $25 million. I would sign Jimmy G for 2 years, $25 million, and draft a quarterback in next season's draft. Brock Purdy's really good, but is he a top 10 quarterback? No, he's not. If he is, he's 10, and I think that's being generous. He's a really good quarterback, but he's not the kind of quarterback that you go, Brock will go out and win a game for us. If everything else is going wrong, if we're missing Kittle, if we're missing C-Mac, no, don't worry about it. We got Brock. He's gonna handle this. He's not that dude. That's not what he is. He's not I want to say he's more than a game manager, but what he's not an overcomer. He's not a franchise quarterback. He's a good quarterback. You don't pay good quarterbacks franchise quarterback money.
Speaking of quarterbacks, man, the quarterback market is looking real slim out here, man. You still got the Giants, the Browns, and the Steelers who still don't have a quarterback. Where do these franchises go? Are we looking in the draft to possibly get somebody? Maybe Urs can step up, or Will Howard. I mean, who's left out there for these teams to get?
If you're the Steelers and you're by most consensus, you're built to win now. Your choices are Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson. That's it. You're built to win now. Pick one. And normally it'd be easy. You go Aaron Rodgers. But I'm thinking, even though he's not as mobile as he once was, Russell Wilson might be a better fit. It's not like the Steelers have one of the better front offensive lines of football. They don't. And Aaron Rodgers can't move like he used to. 42 years old.
I don't know. Wasn't the Jets built to win for Aaron Rodgers and they still couldn't get it done?
You are correct, sir. And that's why with a more talented team, he couldn't get it done. Why am I to believe he comes into a team that's less talented that he would not be able to get done? And you can tell me, well, you can say the same for Russ, But for what is worse, Russ does have some history with Metcalf. He's played with him. He knows his strengths and his weaknesses. And financially, Russ will not cost you nearly as much as Aaron Rodgers. He will not bring in the attitude and the headaches and all the other extras that Aaron Rodgers brings to your franchise. Look, and in the end, both of these guys, Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, they're bridge quarterbacks. They're not quarterbacks for the future. The Steelers are in a really weird situation. They went out and they added DK Metcalf. They've got their wide receivers position set, but they ain't got no quarterback. I've never heard of that. Like Cincinnati can make a case. They got a franchise quarterback. So I still think it's dumb what they did, but the case can be made. Shoot, I got Chase back. I got T. Higgins back. Joe Burrow's one of the best quarterbacks in football. Okay, we're going to have our offense is still going to be one of the best in the league. But the Steelers went out and they've got two wide receivers, and I really don't think either one of them are number ones. And you don't have a quarterback.
You don't think George Pickens is number one? He could be a number one?
No, I think George Pickens was the best receiver on the Steelers. So he was number one by default, not number one because people are like, we got to roll all kind of coverage to George Pickens. I don't think that's how it is at all. DJ Metcalf is not a number one. You can't be a number one if your route tree is one route. So I just think that they went out and did something to, you know what? I'm going to say the moves they made so far looks like they're pushing to find a way for Mike Tomlin to exit. I don't understand their moves. And by the way, the Steelers are known for their defense, but it's not like their defense is a great defense. It's an okay defense. But if a team can run down your throat for 300 yards, 275 yards twice when they play you, you're not a great defense. We can say all you want about their offense, but if you're getting destroyed like that up front, you're not a great defense. So I feel like Mike Tomlin is a victim of his own success, but this coming season, he won't have to worry about it. I honestly believe the Steelers are not going to make the playoffs this year. And if they don't make the playoffs,
given Mike Tomlin's record, you don't think they're gonna still make the playoffs?
Nope, they're not gonna make the playoffs.
He had bad quarterbacks, and he still prevailed in winning games to get.
I get all that, and he's been. I'll give him a lot of credit. He's won when he shouldn't have won, but the problem is when you win like he wins, where you stay in that mediocre zone, you're just good enough to make the playoffs, but you're not bad enough to go out and draft a franchise quarterback. And I think Mike Tomlin's going to he's not going to get the privilege that other coaches would get with his tenure. They're going to have a bad season. They're not going to make the playoffs. And they're going to have a high draft pick. They're going to be able to go out and get their future quarterback. And Mike Tomlin's not going to be there to oversee that because he's going to get fired.
I don't believe in your boy Mike, man.
I totally believe in him. I don't believe in the Steelers organization. I don't believe with what they've done the last couple of years. I don't believe in them. They've said, Mike Tomlin, in a quarterback-driven league, you ain't got a franchise quarterback, but we still expect you to win. We still expect you to do. Now, even the fan base is like, I don't understand. Tomlin ain't took us to a deep playoff run in how many years? Even the fans are chirping. Even the fans who are not being realistic because Big Ben's not under center no more. Joe anybody's under center now. It's not. It's not realistic to expect Mike Tomlin to continue to win 10+ games, and he's doing it with smoke and mirrors. Like the defense overachieves for a portion of the season. The special teams is excellent, and they tell the quarterback, all we need you to do is not turn the ball over. I don't think that's sustainable any longer. I think that he's in one of the tougher divisions in football, and we just mentioned Cincinnati doesn't have anything going on defense. But you know what they can do? They can score.
Speaking of Cincinnati, I don't know what they're gonna look like this season, brother.
They're gonna look fun. They're gonna be fun. They're gonna be fun to watch. They're gonna score a lot of points. The opposition is going to score a lot of points, and the only question is, can the Bengals outscore the opposition? And look, I'm joking about that to a degree because the Bengals also have one of the worst offensive lines in football, and you're hoping that Joe Burrow doesn't get busted up so that he can play. Like the fear is, you've got the wide receivers, you've got Burrow, and because you've got Burrow, you think we can win. That's great. no run game. No, the offensive line is poor. The defensive front line, god awful. Secondary off. There's nothing to be happy about in Cincinnati except that Joe Burrow hasn't asked for a trade yet. But I think that's coming. I think after they don't make the playoffs again this year, and he's got his two partners, at some point, as a quarterback, Joe Burrow has to look up and realize that this franchise is not about winning. It's about making money. It's about filling out the stands, but it's not about winning.
Speaking of the Bengals, while we're sitting here, the Bengals will be spending 44% of their cap on just 3 offense players. We got Joe Burrow, who's making $55 per year. You got Chase now making $40.25 a year. And you got T. Higgins making $28.75 a year. These players will average about $125 million on the books for them yearly.
Right.
What are we doing with a franchise at this point, man? Like,
yeah, it's a poorly built franchise. So the thing you got right, you got a franchise quarterback. I would argue if we're not counting rings, I'm just talking about on pure talent, Joe Burrow is as good as any quarterback in football. He is. And Jamar Chase is the best receiver. If not the best receiver, he's top 2, right? In all of the NFL. I don't think you need, and I'm not saying T. Higgins isn't nice. He's nice, but your number 2 receiver is making the kind of money a number 1 receiver would make.
Indeed.
I don't understand how you put all that money into 2 receivers and a quarterback and then go, let's fill out the rest of our roster and look to our fan base, our season ticket holders, and go, we're really serious about competing for the Super Bowl.
How do you spend all that money on 3 offensive players and leave Trey Henderson in just right there? Dude put up 17.5 sacks the last 2 years, and I don't think they're gonna be able to pay him. If they pay him, what are we doing with defense? And I don't know what they're gonna do. You can't win like that. You got 4 players making up majority of your cap space. It's I don't know what's going on with them Bengals, man. This is unheard of, honestly.
Let me ask you: would you have paid T. Higgins? Would you have re-signed T. Higgins?
If the direction as a G, like if the owner said, "Hey, we're paying Jamar Chase," T. Higgins will have to go. I will have to leave it at that, man, because I want to win. Why am I going to blow all this money on 3 offensive players? We already on the hook for Burrow 55 a year. Jamar Chase, he does deserve his money. He's getting his 40.25. Now we gotta spread the money elsewhere. So we got to cut your losses at this point. Like, do you really need? You got an elite receiver. Why are you paying a number 2, number 1 money? I'll see you later. I'll go find me another number 2. Go get Cooper Kupp or somebody. Like,
you right,
somebody who got some hands, you know what I mean, that can catch the ball when you need it, little check down guy, but you know what I mean?
But you read my mind. The same way we talk about teams getting bridge quarterbacks, guess what? I'll get a bridge wide receiver. Cooper Kupp he's not Pro Bowl Cooper Kupp, but he still is a productive player. He's still a guy that can find a way to get open in zones. He can still make plays. I went out and got a very solid, capable veteran that would cost me nowhere near the amount of money that re-signing T. Higgins cost them. That signing to me, it literally to me just sealed your coach's fate. They're not going to make the playoffs. You got to have a fall guy. The GM ain't going to take the blame. He be like, I gave him all the players. I gave him his wide receivers. We got the quarterback set, and this guy went out and lost. I'm not getting fired. I think they both should get fired. It's Cincinnati, man. They both should get fired.
But my thing is, why you don't build on? You already had success getting there, right? When they got there once, Burrow was young. He lost to the Rams. So why not build on that? You fix the line and you continue on your path. No, they don't fix the line. We're going to pay dudes that's pretty much the number 2 guy on the field more money. That don't make no sense to me, man. Like you let your quarterback back there get trashed, which is why Andrew Luck ended up leaving early. And the crazy thing is, they fixed the line. Even though the Colts fixed the line late, they fixed the line for them. They had one once Andrew Luck left. They had one of the best offensive lines in football.
No,
But
I agree. But
are
the thing about Luck is though, they fixed the line, but Andrew Luck was like, "Yeah, I'm tired of having to like push my ribs back in after every game." So even though you fixed the line, I think I'm a bounce. I think I'm a bounce while I can get out of bed by myself in the morning.
Speaking of Derek Stingley Jr., 3 years, $90 million extension with 89 guaranteed. That's 30 per million for a DB. So the Texans go and pay a DB 30 million per year when CJ Stroud last year got sacked 52 times in the season. And in the playoff game against the Chiefs, he got sacked 8 times and was pressured 56% of the time. So you go and pay a DB, which I'm not gonna lie, he earns it. He earned his money. Yes, but you got other problems out here that you need to fix. Your quarterback's getting trash back there. How you feel about Derek Stingley getting his money?
He's a great player, and I'm not anti-player. I think you and your agent work to get the money you deserve. And when people say what he's worth whatever they're willing to pay. But I think my thing is, you're right. Stroud is your franchise quarterback. He's going to be your guy for the next 10 or 12 years, provided he stays healthy. Well, he's already taken a beating. He's taken as much a beating as Joe Burrow has. And I don't understand how you don't go, we need to address left tackle. We need to address our offensive line across the board to protect CJ Stroud. They're kind of in a similar situation. They have talented wide receivers. They've got a decent veteran running back in Joe Mixon, but their offensive line isn't very good. Here's a spoiler alert. CJ Stroud is going to be sacked over 50 times again this year. And the only question is he going to make it through the season? So I don't understand the mindset. How do you not recognize the teams that are winning Super Bowls? They also dominate on the line of scrimmage, be it defensive line or offensive line. Those teams win Super Bowls.
Indeed, they do. At least, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with it, man. It makes no sense to me.
But look, Stingley's a great cornerback. I again, there is a value in having a lockdown corner, but to me, he's a luxury if you don't take care of your greater needs on the offensive line to protect it. It's a domino effect, right? If you protect Stroud is able to find his wide receivers. He's at, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a domino, and then the wide receivers are production. Joe Mixon is more productive. If you go, well, we've taken care of cornerback, so we're good. I feel like the Texans are going to always be one. They're you know what? It's weird. They're very similar to Pittsburgh, but the only difference is they already have their franchise quarterback, but they haven't solved the riddle of the offensive line. So I think they'll always be good enough to make the playoffs, but they're not going to be good enough to actually make a Super Bowl run.
Now, would you say a DB is only as good as his front line? Because a DB can only hold a receiver but so long, right?
Fact. This is fact. So if you're one of those teams that ranks in the middle of the pack in terms of pass rush or sacks, your DB might be talented as hell, but nobody is locking nobody down for more than 6 seconds, right? Like it really is that beat in a talented quarterback. I don't care how good the DB is. More than 7 seconds, you're getting roasted. I understand the value of a DB, but a DB to me is not more valuable than a great offensive lineman. He's not more valuable than an edge rusher on defense.
So we got a Sam Darnold and Cooper Kupp connection happening next season for the Seattle Seahawks. Man, they paid Cooper Kupp 3 years, $45 million. Cooper Kupp is going back home, man. That's where he went to college at. So how you feel about Cooper Kupp getting himself a nice little deal going to Seattle?
I feel like after this season, he's gonna go home permanently. Sam Darnold to me had a great one-off season, very similar to the great one-off season Geno had when he was with the Seahawks. But towards the end of the season and into the playoffs, he looked like regular old Sam Darnold. Not a Pro Bowl guy, not nobody next level, just a guy, just a jag, just another guy, just a guy. If you're a season ticket holder in Seattle, I guess you can get into that. I can see the commercial now. Come out and join Sam Darnold, Cooper Kupp, and the rest of the Seahawks. I think I stay at home and watch that on CBS. I'm good. I watch it on CBS.
Oh, man, you don't think Cooper Kupp got nothing left in the tank to be great?
I think he's got something left in the tank to be productive, but I don't think he has a great quarterback. Like, you could be the greatest receiver on the planet. If you ain't got a great quarterback, for you to have 1,000-yard receiving, you're going to catch a lot of medicine balls. And if Sam Darnold's your quarterback, you're going to catch a lot of medicine balls.
So with the Chiefs not doing nothing this year, really, yet, the Bills are beefing up. Ravens ain't really do too much, but the Ravens are still a very solid team. Do you see the Chiefs still coming out of the AFC next year at this point, or are we seeing somebody else? Don't forget the Chargers too. The Chargers are beefing up. They beefing up real heavy.
This is the most important thing about the Chiefs. They followed this blueprint that the Patriots laid out for us over a decade ago. If you got the franchise quarterback, if you got the great coach who complements the quarterback, and Andy Reid is an offensive coach, and then you've got Spags as the defensive coordinator, what they're saying is we've got a couple of elite players at different levels on defense. We've got arguably the best quarterback in football on offense and one of the great offensive minds in football on offense. We can put regular guys around them and still find a way to win. Like, the Chiefs are not going to be statistically greater than anybody. You're not going to go, this is the greatest show on turf offense. You're not going to go, this is the 85 Bears defense. And yet the defense is going to be one of the top 7 defenses in football. The offense might be top 15 at best, but they do just enough to win football games. And then they get in the playoffs. And what are they? They're the scariest team in the AFC every year.
Let's call a spade here. Do you see the Chiefs really making the playoffs last year? They had a lot of games where the refs was stepping in.
Oh, no, not that. No.
If I lying, though, they had a lot of games where the refs was stepping in for them, man. There was a mediocre receiving core, you know. Mahomes can't pull the Brady thing off, but if your wide receivers ain't out there catching, like I seen some questionable, like he had some good passes bouncing right off the hands, but they end up getting a call somewhere at some point to keep them going. I didn't really see them going deep in the playoffs without refs having to step in, which is why they got murdered in the Super Bowl. The refs wasn't called. They had the flags tucked all the way in the pocket.
So, to be fair, when I look at who they went against in the Super Bowl, if it was just about the refs, then how come those teams didn't just blow them out the water? Why were those games tight? Right? You know why they were tight? Because the Chiefs play good under pressure. They step up when it matters most. Like, I get that argument. But the only team that blew them out was in the Super Bowl. Why did they get blown out? Eagles have one of the dominant front lines in all of football. They have one of the dominant offensive lines in all of football. That's where the football game was won and lost. It really was. So I get the notion that I'm going to use a different phrase. I'm not going to say refs or fix it. I'm going to say that over the past 4 or 5 years, Kansas City they've had a lot of that Patriots magic going their way. Because you could have made the same argument when New England was on top of the NFL. Because I've heard people say, look at all the calls they get and all the. I remember all that. I think that when you
can't bet against, that's all. You know, Mahomes, he's one of them, but still, he didn't. Brady, you couldn't bet against, but he still had people that was catching the ball, like Edelman, Deion Branch, random guys who really had hands out there. But You seen guys out here even Travis Kelce. He didn't have a great season. He was not that. He's not Hall of Fame guy. You know, putting up numbers. Travis Kelce, like all his receiving core was mediocre this year because of Rashee Rice was out. I don't think they would have had any problems with Rashee Rice in the game.
All right, so let me spin it another way. Why did Buffalo lose? Why did they lose?
They choked.
Right. That's it. That's why they lost. And you can use that word again when you describe the Ravens. I don't think did the Ravens really choke? They did, because Mark Andrews, it wasn't great coverage that made him drop that football. He wide open. The man by himself. The man's by himself, and he act like he had hands made of bricks. That's not great defense.
It was cold outside, Mo.
Huh?
It was cold.
It's even colder. I got you, but it's even colder in the locker room when you come back in there and you don't want to drop the pass. It's a lot colder to walk in that locker room and you got to drop the pass. Nobody says nothing, but everybody thinking it.
Oh man. So moving on, man. Let's talk about a little bit of NBA, man. Sure. No Halliburton, no Siakam, no Turner. And the Pacers still end up beating the T-Wolves in overtime by 2. What does this say about the Timberwolves right now as we gearing up for the NBA playoffs?
I'll be consistent with what I've been saying the last 4 or 5 years. If Julius Randle's your second best player, you ain't going too far. You ain't going to. If he's your second best player, you're going home. As simple as that. You're going home. You're going home, and you can watch the playoffs at home. I think the Timberwolves are one of those teams that on a given night, they can beat anybody. And on a given night, they can lose it. It's not an accident that when you look at the back end of the West, I think the Timberwolves are the 7th seed right now. You're in the play-in. If you're in the play-in, you're not that good a basketball team. Mind you, they're in the play-in and they're on a winning streak until the other night. So if you're on an 8-game winning streak and it's just good enough to get you into the play-in, you're probably not that good a basketball team.
I mean, is Julius Randle really that bad, man? I mean, Anthony Edwards could carry most of the way. And
it's not that he's not that bad. He's not bad at all. So when people hear me say what I say about Julius Randle, they go, "You're saying he's not a good basketball player." I'm saying the opposite. He is a good basketball player, but he's not a great basketball player. He's a good basketball player. He's always been a good basketball player. But as the number 2, and you're trying to win a title, you're asking too much for Julius Randle. If he's your third option, if he's your third guy, then you're a title contender. But if you're putting pressure on him to step up in the postseason, and you can pull up his playoff numbers right now, I'm not even looking at them, and I already know his playoff numbers are garbage because he's always been garbage in the playoffs.
Always been garbage. I mean, they got
consistent garbage.
They got McDaniels, man. You don't think McDaniels is really that good? I mean, I think he's a solid player. He could be a number 2.
He is solid. No, he can't be a number 2. He's not that good. He's there's a reason why when they play opposing teams that Jaden Daniels is wide open. That's a plan. He's not wide open because they drew up a great play. He's wide open because the other team is like, we good.
Oh man, Toppin dropped 34 on them yesterday, man.
That says it all right there. Look.
Granted,
Obi Toppin's a good basketball player, but if he drops 30 points on you, you've lost.
I mean,
I guarantee you, Obi Toppin at best averages 10 points a game.
Rudy Gobert got he got suspended early out the game. He got ejected.
That should have made him play better. I'm joking. People bang on Gobert a lot. I think Rudy Gobert will be appreciated more when his career is over. He is still outside of Wemby and Chet Holmgren as a weak side rim protector. He's still one of the best in basketball. When you set him up for success and play to his strengths and allow him to do what he does best, you're gonna have one of the top defensive teams in the NBA. By the way, I believe the Timberwolves are now back in the top 10. I think they're ranked 7th defensively. That's primarily because of what Rudy Gobert does. So he does impact your team that way. If he gives you double-digit scoring on offense, that's just a cherry on top. So I'm joking about Rudy Gobert. The Timberwolves' true weakness is they only have one consistent shot creator on their entire roster. And in a league that values shooting and shot creation, they don't have a lot of shooting, and they have one shot creator. You're only going to go so far with that.
Indeed, I agree with that. I mean, a lot of teams are going deep with a lot of, set shooters, but the Timberwolves don't have a lot of staying their guys and knock it down when you need it. But if the playoffs, Mo, started today, starting with the play-in, do you know who's in the play-in right now without Luka?
The Lakers would be without Luka. Oh, well,
No.
you mean the Mavericks? Yeah. Well, look, I don't even think the Mavericks are in the play-in, right? Like, what are they right now? What are they? The 10th seed, right? So they're going to be playing either Minnesota or the Clippers. They're losing those series, so let's just assume
they'll be playing either Sacramento or the Clippers.
Well, they might win Sacramento, so I mean, it's Sacramento.
The Suns are sitting at 11th. Can you really?
They're not even gonna make the playoffs. They're not even making.
You believe the Mavericks are gonna make the playoffs over the Suns?
I don't think either one of them. Here's the funny part: how do you have Kevin Durant? How do you have Devin Booker? And for whatever people think of Bradley Beal, you have Bradley Beal, and you can't overtake a Mavericks team that is missing its 3 leading scorers. How do you not overtake that team? What is wrong in Phoenix? Like there has to be something eternal wrong right inside, because you can't overtake a team with who are they winning with? Who are their shot creators? Who are they leading scorers? And the Suns can't overtake them. That to me speaks about culture. It speaks about coaching or lack thereof. If you can't overtake the Suns or you can't overtake the Mavericks, you shouldn't be in the playoffs. And I think right now, when I watch the Suns play, it looked to me like the tank is on. But I know they're not tanking because they ain't got no damn picks. So,
I don't understand though how Bradley Beal, he played way better than what Jordan Poole was playing for the Wizards, and Booker, Beal, and Durant can't get it done. What is happening here, man? I don't understand it. How do you decline that far?
So let's concede this. If somebody asks me who's better, Jordan Poole or Bradley Beal, Bradley Beal is better than Jordan Poole. Now, if they expand that question and go, so which one of them is a franchise player, Bradley Beal or Jordan Poole? Neither one. When Bradley Beal was in Washington, he was the leading scorer on a bad team. That's what Bradley Beal is. If he's the best player on your team, it means your team is just good enough to get a good lottery pick. That's what it means. As the third option in Phoenix, you would think by default, playing with Booker and Durant, we're at a minimum, you could go, we're a playoff team. And they're not that. Now look, Durant's putting up good numbers, but anybody that's watched Phoenix recently, if you don't see the signs of age, it's because you're not looking for it, but it's there. It's there. He can't separate from people like he used to. I don't know why people gave him this line where they were like, Kevin Durant's an elite defender. No, he's not. He never was. He was a good defender as a weak side defender with Golden State. But if you put him in space and he has to guard somebody that can score, they're putting him on skates because he does not have the lateral quickness to guard anybody that has a handle. Bradley Beal's not guarding anybody. As much as I like D-Book, not guarding anybody. Like, the Lakers were playing the Suns the other night, and I was laughing before the game because I was like, you can book this. This is a lock we're winning. It's a lock we're winning. And you know why it's a lock we're winning? Because every time Luka sees D-Book on the other side, it's money. Money.
Man, I mean, I don't understand it. The Suns, they should be outscoring. They got scorers, but no
point guard. They went out and got a point guard, and then you know how they rewarded the man? They turned Tyus Jones to a spot up shooter. He don't even play point guard. Like they got Booker being the primary facilitator. Like, come on, coach, but you smarter than that, man. What are you doing? What are you doing?
It's not good coaching.
It's not good coaching. You are setting your team up for failure. Look, D-Book's a great player, but if you have him as your primary ball handler, that's that much more energy he has to use up bringing the ball up against pressure. That doesn't make sense. that is just stupid. It's stupid. I think that coach is a good coach, but he's lost the locker room.
Speaking of teams, if we start a playoff today, guess who else is in the play-in without Mr. Jimmy Buckets? The Miami Heat. Now, I don't really like the play-in thing because of simple reasons like this right here, with teams that are not going to go very far. It's pointless for you to even be in a playoff game right now. But the Bulls is here.
What are they doing? What are you doing? What are you doing, Chicago? You can't even lose right. Like you know damn well you need to lose more games. Not waste your fan base's time. Get into the playoffs. What if you luck up and get into the playoffs? Why would you do that? What do people think is going to happen with Kobe White and the rest of the Bulls? They think they're going to go on a deep playoff run. They're not. There's no point to it. I'm actually one of those people that I don't like the play-in. I don't like the play-in at all. If you've been god awful all year and you're not good enough to be one of the top 8 teams in the NBA, then your ass shouldn't be in the playoffs. Your ass shouldn't be in the playoffs. Period. That's how I feel about it. I think it's a waste of time. Look, the only time it worked, you just brought up his name. Jimmy Buckets took the heat on a Monsters run, coming through had to go through the play-in to do it. But I'm not big on it because, like I said, what if I'm a team that doesn't have a lot of talent, but we found a way to be the 8th best team in the NBA? They should be rewarded for that. Not your reward is now you get to play for the right to keep the 8th seed. I'm not feeling that.
I mean, you know what the NBA was trying to do, and the problem with the NBA is that it's not a one and done series. That's the problem. They trying to adopt, let the playoffs be a little deeper because of the NCAA tournament type style. But
sure,
7-game series out here, brother. If you a bad team, you just gonna lose. It's pointless at this point. There's no Cinderella story that could really happen besides if you got Jimmy Butler, who made that crazy run with the Heat, and then Buddy got swept in the finals. The Celtics destroyed them, man. Like, I'm disappointed with the Raptors. They should be in there. They're not. The Raptors is 11.
I thought the Raptors, if they had started the season if they were going to have their 3 best players initially. So we're talking about Scotty Barnes. We're talking about Quickly and what's the young man from Duke? I can't remember his name right now. The lefty, but somebody will yell it in the thing. But I thought they were going to be able to be one of the.
Talking about RJ, right?
Right. RJ. But they didn't start the season with their big 3. Barnes was out he missed so much time, so did Quickly. And they were, I think if you count how many games they've all played together a whole as a unit, I think it's about 20. But this is what I knew coming into the season. Mind you, I thought they'd be good enough to make the playoffs. What I didn't think was that they had enough to make a deep run. I don't think if Scotty Barnes is your best player, that's not enough. He's their best player, and he certainly is a very good player. But if he's your best player, you're not a title contender. Scotty Barnes, and he might view this as an insult, he's a Pippen. and there's nothing wrong with being a Pippen. The problem is he's not playing with a Jordan. He's playing with RJ Barrett. And that's not a Jordan. That's more like a Horace Grant.
You don't think RJ Barrett elevated his game a lot?
No? He's saying, no, go look at his numbers with the Knicks and look at his numbers with the Raptors. He's the same guy. He might look a little flashier, but the production is the same. RJ Barrett is a star, but not an all-star, right? So is RJ Barrett ever going to make an all-star team? No, he ain't. The only way RJ Barrett makes an all-star team is there's a rash of injuries in the Eastern Conference that we never seen before. And even then, it's a high maybe. I think what they have on the Raptors is they have a bunch of very good players. What they don't have is one guy that can get a bucket when everything else breaks down. That one guy that can get a stop. Even though Scotty Barnes is a really good defender, he's not a consistent defensive player. And people say Scotty Barnes is a great ball handler. What Scotty Barnes is, if you're being honest, if you just go back and look at film of both of these players I'm going to mention, because this is a player comp, Scotty Barnes is a more athletic version of Ron Artest, aka Meta World Peace. That's what he is. Go look at him play. Go look at what he does. He doesn't blow by people. He gets into your body and he crab dribbles you under the basket because he's so powerful. But he doesn't have a live handle like that. Scotty's a bully with the ball, like Ron Artest was. If that guy's going to be your primary ball handler, you're going to be very limited offensively.
So the Nuggets, did you watch that game against the Warriors, man?
I did, and it's funny because I just had a conversation about how overrated Golden State was. So when that game came on perfectly, that I was feeling good. I was like, you let Aaron Gordon score 38 points playing center? Come on, man. People got to stop with this. I think the Warriors can go to the conference. No, the hell they can't. The hell they can't.
People are taking the Warriors as a serious contender this year because of Jimmy buckets.
Then those aren't serious people. They're not serious people. This is not going to happen. When you get into the postseason, you're only playing good teams. I think Golden State is 6th in the West right now. So they would play the third team, which I believe would be Memphis. I would give the Warriors a chance in that series.
They would play the Nuggets.
The Nuggets?
If it start right now, they are in 6. They would play the Nuggets.
Well, they going home in 4, so they ain't got to worry about it. Like they don't need to pack. They don't need to pack a lot of
gentleman's suite. They can't get the gentleman's suite, brother.
No, they should just get beat down. They're not. What are you gonna do? You gonna put Draymond Green on Joker? Draymond fouling out. You're not putting Draymond Green on Joker. Bad matchup. The Nuggets are a bigger team. Here's the Warriors' only saving grace versus Denver. The Warriors go like 9 or 10 deep. Denver's got the worst bench in all the NBA. They got nothing on their bench, nothing. So if a starter gets in foul trouble or a starter goes down, they're in trouble. The Warriors do have that advantage. They are the deeper team. And you could say between Steph and Jimmy buckets, their top 2 players, I think they're better than the combination of Murray and Joker, but neither one of them is better than right. The best player in that series is going to be Joker. We all agree on that. It's not even close. But I would say the next 2 best players are Steph and Jimmy buckets.
And how you feel about the Rockets, man? They're the number 2 in the West. Do you really think they're really like that and going on a deep playoff run, or is this just nobody's really taking the regular season too serious, and the Rockets are just taking advantage of getting wins when they can?
The Rockets are well coached. Let's start there. They're also one of the deepest teams in the NBA. I think top to bottom, they're probably the most athletic team in the NBA, and they have like 4 guys that are wing defenders that are 6'8" and up, that can guard multiple positions at a high level. Like, they've got everything you need on the perimeter. Then you got Şengün in the middle, who's a double-double guy offensively that you can play through. You've got Green, who's an explosive scorer. My only issue with the Rockets is they don't have any shooting. They don't have consistent shooting, and that includes Jalen Green. He's not a great shooter. He's a volume scorer. To get 28 points on a given night, Jalen Green probably has to check up 25 shots. That's not good. And in the playoffs, when it becomes about half court execution and it's more of a grind, I think Houston can win a series depending on who they match up with. Like you said, they're number 2 in the West.
So they would play the Timberwolves if they go into the playoffs now. And
that series can go anyway. It really could. Like, Houston is the deeper team, the better all-around team. But the best player in that series, we already know who that is. And even though I'm not a huge fan of his, Randall's probably one of the top 4 players in that series. So I think Gobert is good enough that he can slow Şengün down. Şengün's not like the Joker. Like, we talk about how the Joker's unathletic. If the Joker can't jump over a phone book, Şengün can't jump over one either. I mean, they got the same level of non-athleticism, except Joker's much better. I think what Houston needs they currently don't have. They need a closer. They don't possess a closer. They don't possess a tough shot maker who can make shots consistently. We hear the rumors. What they need is a veteran who's proven themselves in the postseason as a bucket getter, and they don't have that on their team. I don't think the Rockets are going to go on a deep playoff run. I think they've had a great season. I think they might win a first-round series, but they won't get out the second round.
Let's talk about these Lakers real quick, man. 42-25, man. We the fourth seed. We went from second to the fourth seed. We was at the fifth. You know, they won a couple of games, and some other teams lost. How do you feel about this Lakers team without LeBron? Like, could they possibly still go to a championship like everybody thinking they are? What you thinking about them?
I'm feeling pretty good. And usually I'm more pessimistic, but I think I'm feeling pretty good because outside of the Thunder, everybody else is the same. There's no dominant teams. And because there are no dominant teams, I think the Lakers are better than everybody else not named OKC. And if OKC doesn't play their A game, they could lose. But I think they're better than everybody else. Like, you know what? Just off the rip, Beehive, talking jive, it don't matter. Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 5.
You don't think the Thunder got the experience, man, to actually go this year? I mean,
it's weird,
SGA,
right?
SGA got the experience now in the playoffs, so
it's weird because I was just defending SGA the other day in an argument about how he's deserving of being the MVP, and yet both things can be true. SGA should be the MVP, and Joker could still be the best player in basketball, right? That we do know that the best player doesn't always win the MVP. When Charles Barkley won it, he wasn't the best player in the league. When Karl Malone won it twice, he was never the best player in the league. The best player in the league didn't win. That's just what it was. That's real. So Joker winning it again, I'm not saying he's not worthy of it, but what has SGA not done to win the MVP? And more importantly, in the standings, his team is 12 games better than Joker's team. So I'm defending SGA while at the same time, if you're asking me, do I think they're a lock to make the finals? I don't. I think there's something about the Thunder that makes me pause, and I don't know if it's not about talent.
What is making you pause, Mo?
I think it's mental toughness. I'm gonna challenge their mental toughness. I'm gonna challenge them that when they're in a grind out game and SGA, maybe he's not having one of those 15 for 18 shooting nights. What if he's 9 for 23, which isn't terrible? What does Jalen Williams do? What does Chet Holmgren do? Like, can those other guys pick him up when he's not having a great game in the postseason? They've yet to show that. And I know bringing in Alex Caruso, bringing in Hartenstein, those are guys that are dogs that get after it. They're made for the playoffs. The question is, can the top players, when I'm talking about Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren, can they step their game up in the postseason? I think that's a question. I think that's unproven. I think SGA can average 35 points in a series, and they can still lose that series. That's my problem with OKC.
I don't know, man. I think they might pull it through this year, man. I think the only roadblocks they probably come against is probably maybe the Nuggets or the Lakers. Other than that, I think the Thunder will run through a lot of the other teams, man. I don't think the other teams is ready. Rockets, they're young, inexperienced. They haven't been in the playoffs since James Harden. Grizzlies, John Morant's up and down. I don't know what's up with him, but he went from the most electric player in the NBA to, he's just maintaining his team at this point. Like, Ryan Tannehill for the Titans type deal.
I got you, but to be fair to Morant, he's one of those guys, Carmack, you can appreciate this. A big part of his game, a big part of his skill set is his freakish athleticism, right? He hasn't added anything to his game. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if everything you are, what makes you what you are, is about your God-given stuff, but you don't add like a go-to or become more than just that, that doesn't age well. I keep telling people that I hope he doesn't end up being like Steve Francis. But I feel like he's going to end up being like Steve Francis. Look, tell me that John Morant and Steve Francis don't have the same skill set. They're the same guy. Same guy. No. Same freakish athleticism.
I think Steve Francis had a little more weight to him, though.
Right. Well, I mean, everybody has more weight than John Morant. But, I mean, he could use some collard greens. He could eat some more. He can eat a little bit. But what I'm saying is, you can't be one of those explosive guards that everything is predicated on your athleticism and expect to be one of the top players in year 8, year 10 in your career, right? If you don't add something else to your game. And he's declined slowly, but the reality is he's not even the best player on his own team. The best player in the Grizzlies is Jaren Jackson Jr. John Morant is no longer the best player. So let's start there. He's not the best player. I fully believe if the Grizzlies, if they go into the playoffs fully healthy and they don't have a deep run and John Morant is average or subpar, that guy's getting traded. He's not untradeable.
All right, let's we winding it down. Let's move on. We're gonna go. If you haven't put your bracket in with Wire to Wire, please go to the Facebook page and put it in. But speaking of the NCAA, I wanted to get into it, man. One of the biggest shams of all time has happened, and people are not liking it. UNC somehow, some way, has made it in to the tournament. How do you feel about this, Mo?
You know what? Money talks, right? And I'm just gonna keep it a buck. Does North Carolina generate money? Yeah, a ton. They generate a lot of money. And do they have a lot of clout and power behind them? Absolutely. I don't think they're an awful team, but I thought there were other teams that were more deserving. I do. Now I'm not on the committee, and this is not the first time the committee has put together or put in teams where we were like, how the hell? You saw the governor of West Virginia and how upset he was, right? Like my man is like literally like putting it down. You know what the
argument was is that North Carolina had one of the strongest schedules in the NCAA as to why they was deserving enough to get voted in.
Okay. They did have one of the strongest schedules, but they was getting a tail kick too during that strongest. Like it's not like they had one of the strongest schedules. And look at all the teams they beat. You mean all the teams that beat them?
Yeah, they went. I mean, they went what 1-12 against the quad ones out there, man. I mean,
right. So if you getting the bricks beat off you by that, I mean, if I'm West Virginia, I can make that metric. I can go in there and go 1-12. I can go 1-12.
I mean, you know, Duke dominated them all year, man. I don't know how they got in. It's one of those the refs getting paid type of deals, man. You know, athletic director, he had a seat. I think he was what a chair in there.
Yeah, yeah.
They think he ain't had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, all right, man. All right. Look, we could all look the other way because that's what they're saying. Look the other way, like. That was one of those that he got connections, he got some sway, and he used it. And then they step out there with a straight face and go, well, when you look at the strength of their schedule. Right. We looked at it. And they was getting the brakes beat off them. We know. We saw.
But I think they'll make it out the first 4. They're in there.
You know what? I'm going to go against you. I think they lose.
They're going to lose in the first 4?
Yeah, I think you know what?
Come on, Mo.
All right, you watch. They're gonna go against one of those. They're gonna go up against. This is how this works. Somebody undeserving gets in, and then they get their ass ran. They're gonna get ran. I think they're getting ran.
Oh man, so we got Duke number 1 in the East, Florida in the West, Auburn in the South, and Houston in the Midwest.
That's a scary team, man. Houston is scary. I mean, you talk about athletes across the board. Like they were scary, but I mean, they're scary. They can get in you. They can get after you. Like I'm leaning towards Houston winning it all.
What?
Yeah.
No.
You heard it right here. You heard it right now. Look, and that's good for the city of Houston because the Rockets ain't winning nothing. So got Houston.
Check this. I'm going either Duke or it's probably going to be St. John's.
All right, so just by default, and I'm saying this kind of tongue in cheek. My blackness won't let me vote for Duke. I can't do it.
I mean,
just because it's Duke, just a GP, I can't.
I mean, with Cooper Flag in there, man. Now, if they don't have Cooper Flag, I don't have them going. But Cooper Flag sprained his little ankle. But
he took Cooper Flag's amazing.
He is,
and I hope
he's a dog.
I hope he's 100% healthy.
DAWG, he's a dog, man.
I hope he's 100% healthy when Duke loses, so there ain't no excuses.
But most people are predicting one of the SEC teams are going to win because they have a historical 14 teams in the tournament this year out of the 16.
I know, and that's crazy. That's like, what's that line? If the odds are ever in all the odds are in your favor that want somebody gonna come through, right?
May the odds forever be in your favor.
Yes. What is that line, man? I volunteer. I volunteer.
But out of the number one teams, do you see anyone of who's going down first? Are you predict anyone going to lose before the Elite Eight? I mean, Sweet 16 or the Elite Eight?
Elite Eight. No, I think all the number ones make it to the Elite Eight.
All of them?
Yeah, but I think that once you get to the Elite Eight, I'm gonna say only two of them get knocked off in the Elite Eight. I don't think this is when you look at the field and look at some of the competition, especially like when you look at some of those teams that aren't, I guess people don't look at. This is the beauty of March Madness. There's team seed, but you look at their schedule and you're like, holy, look at their schedule, and you go, okay, these because there's always a Fairleigh Dickinson out there that got some dogs, right? And you're like, okay, we're going to stomp them and then just come out bombs away and make like 25 threes. I'm just saying, this is what I love about March Madness. If it was as simple as you got 4 number ones, they all going to be there in the end. They're going to be the Final Four. They're not going to all be there in the end.
Man, so how you feel about St. John's, man? They went 30-4 behind head coach Rick Pitino, man. He's known to be one of those guys who can coach a team up very well and make it and win championships, man. So you don't see St. John's making it?
Pitino is a great coach. If we're just talking about his coaching ability, he's a great coach. There's no denying that. And he's coached these guys up. He got them playing. To me, they're punching above their weight class. They're dogs. The whole team are nothing but dogs. They get after you defensively. They're solid offensively. I'm going to say that I think they get to the Elite Eight. I don't think they get past.
That's it?
Yep.
I don't think they got the potential to get at least to the Final Four.
Yeah, look.
Potential.
Right. And it's that way you can say the potential. I'm not arguing that. I think they have the potential to. But as you alluded to earlier, as we make out our brackets, right? as we make out our brackets, I ain't got them going to the Elite Eight. They're not in my bracket.
Oh man, we're going to bring the bracket up one day, Mo. We gotta see it, baby.
Yeah, well, look, you know what? So we have. You've already pointed out. Look, wire to wire. We've got our bracketology thing going on. You can join the wire to wire March Madness bracket. Cost you $20 with an opportunity to win $1,000. And look, I'm just saying, I don't got them. Now somebody else probably like Mo's crazy, and I got them in mind. It's gonna be fun, and we're all gonna be watching because you know how this goes. Usually day one, damn near everybody's bracket get busted.
Yeah, I mean it's usually the well prepped team going in while the other teams is lollygagging around and they mess around and get Tyson Douglas,
Yeah, and that's what I love about March Madness. Though you can tell me all the things why this number one seed is gonna run through this 13th seed, and then you're like, how did that happen? And I love that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is our show winding down for the day. Mo, it's always a pleasure, man. If you haven't put your bracket in, please go log Wire to Wire on Facebook and $20 possibly get you 1,000. Mo, Big Dog closes out.
Thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. Make sure you check out all the great content and make sure you sign up for the Wire to Wire March Madness bracket. We appreciate you guys so much. We'll see you.